Welcome to the Biz Easy podcast, where small business is simplified for greater results. Brought to you by Resources and Development. Go to www.resources-development.com for help in taking your business to the next level. And now, help me welcome the host of the Biz Easy podcast, Steve McCrillis.
Welcome to the Biz Easy podcast, coming to you from America's small business capital, recorded right here in Middle Tennessee while reaching across the airwaves all over the globe. Biz Easy, your resource to help take your business to the next level. Also, stay tuned to learn how you can get your free Biz Easy business tool gift. My name is Steve, and your host as we all learn how to stay better focused on the things that makes your business great. Now, don't forget our new book available on Amazon. Isn't it time your business becomes Biz Easy? Now I'd just become a walking, talking sponsor. Biz Easy.
Gratuitous, but go ahead.
You'll enjoy the podcast. You'll love the book. Now, I'd like to introduce you to my partner and our resident guru of coaching, our lead business coach, Skip Williams.
Thanks, Steve. Hey, before we get started, do you know the difference between people from Dubai and people from Abu Dhabi?
No. What's the difference?
People from Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but the people from Abu Dhabi do.
You did it. You made it.
I wasn't sure if you were going to make it through.
So what's on our agenda today, Skip?
All right, I wanted to talk about the consultative approach to sales. You know, if you own a retail
gripping title.
Oh, yes. If you own a retail store that sells a common commodity or an online store, you may not have the luxury of using this approach. But it's common to be greeted by floor staff when you enter a retail store. Further, it's normal to have that first encounter or that greeting as you enter. How are you today, and how can I help you? This is either to your pleasure or to your annoyance sometimes, but it's quite common practice. Does this practice enhance your shopping experience and increase sales? For some, perhaps, but most part, no. In either case, it isn't consultative in any way. But for many businesses, using the consultative approach to sales can easily double or triple your sales.
Well, before I ask you the question of what exactly is a consultative approach, I'll have to tell you, my wife does not like to shop. She does not like to be confronted by anybody. I mean, she shopped at Nordstrom, for those places. You always get that person, can I help you? Can I help you find something? She stopped going to those places because she didn't want that help. Now she shops on Amazon.
And a lot of people do, but there are times when I'm shopping for something specific. Whether it's like a home supply store and I need some sort of plumbing part, but I'm not quite sure what I need. I want to be able to go in there, ask some questions, have somebody give me a little bit of their wisdom to help me select the right items, and maybe even give me some hints how to use it.
I feel okay. Go back to my question. So what exactly is the consultative approach? I need an example.
Well, I think that's a good example. You go into a home store, you need something for plumbing, but you're not quite sure what, and you get a person that can actually tell you what you need and how you're going to use it and how you're going to put it together or whatever.
Okay.
But when I think of consultative sales, the one that comes to my mind all the time is the dentist. I can never seem to get out of the dentist's office without making a future appointment. That to me is a simple and effective consultative sale. Another example might be a salon where you go in for a haircut. The expert cutting your hair tells you that you need this shampoo or that conditioner or other related products. He or she does this by explaining the problem that they see with your hair or your scalp and how these products will make your life better. When you approach the checkout desk, these products are already waiting for you, and you would have to speak up and say, no, I don't want them, which less than half the customers will do in order to not purchase them.
Yeah.
What these examples have in common is not pressure tactics, but rather you came here to have an expert do something for you, and I'm recommending what you need in order to accomplish what you want approach.
Yeah, I think that's the distinguishing feature is you have to be an expert. Or is it about being the expert, making recommendation, expecting them to buy? Because you brought up the big box store with plumbing or electrical. They're just trying to get you to find your way over to the correct aisle. I don't know how consultative that is unless they actually know something about plumbing and electrical. And now I've recognized that they don't like to give you, well, what are you trying to do? Let me help you out with that, because then they become liable.
Well, I'm not sure that's true. They often hire ex-contractors to handle the plumbing department, this or that. And if you go into a smaller store like a True Value or whatever, those guys um, may not have been contractors, but they've been in the business long enough that they can probably answer the questions better than the contractors.
Sure. Okay.
You know, it doesn't take long for you to become an expert on something. You can go into a field that you never had any experience in before, and within a few days, you'll know more than the customers do, or most of the customers anyway.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. So it's about being an expert. Conversely, you've gone into a store of some kind wanting to learn about something that you were interested in purchasing, only to find no one there to answer your questions. If you're like me, you went somewhere else to find your answers and vowed never to return to that unhelpful store again.
Right.
Let's face it, when a customer or client comes to see you, they are, at the very least, interested in your product or service. They've come to an expert, if not the expert, for what you offer. If they didn't come to buy, then they were at least seeking information about something that is of interest to them, maybe a future purchase.
Yeah.
The consultative approach to sales is a sales technique that focuses on understanding the customer's needs, their challenges, their goals, and providing them with a solution that delivers value and benefits. It's based on the following principles. A little research, you got to gather information about the customer's background, industry, pain points, objectives before engaging with them. You got to ask. You got to ask open-ended questions, explore the customer's situation, the needs, the expectations, the motivations even. You always want to listen. Listen actively and empathetically to the customer's response and clarify any doubts or concerns. Then you teach. Once you need to educate the customer about their problem and their possible solutions and the value proposition of their particular product or service, or your particular product or service. Qualify. That you have to evaluate the customer's fit, interest, and readiness to buy, and identify any potential objections or risk. And once you do those things, it's fairly simple to close the sale with a solution that aligns with the customer's needs and goals and ask for their commitment or agreement. And when we're talking simple sales, these may be a little bit more complex than they need to be. But when we're talking about high ticket items, these points are very, very important. Lastly, you want to follow up and maintain contact with the customer, provide support, ensure satisfaction and loyalty.
You know, it's interesting. The last two offshoots of my career as a financial advisor, and before that as a business analyst for a international consulting company, both of my peers spoke about finding a solution to the problem, but the only way that you can get to the problem is you do the things you just identified. You research, you ask, you listen, you teach, you qualify, you close them. I mean, each one of those things, because if the pain and the need is deep enough and you've identified all the things and you propose a solution, do you think that's why this method of consultative sales is so effective?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said before, they came to you knowing that you are the expert in this particular field. And so they probably want your advice even more than they want the product. So that conversation actually happens fairly naturally.
Well, if they know you and they know that you know something and they like you through the course of that little interrogatory,
right?
Obviously they can trust you, and that's where you're going to gain that opportunity to sell. Would you agree?
Correct. I mean, the benefits of this approach are it builds trust and rapport with the customer. It establishes the salesperson as a credible and reliable partner. It uncovers the customer's true needs and desires. It enables the salesperson to tailor the solution accordingly. It creates a value for the customer and demonstrates how the salesperson's solution can help them achieve their desired outcomes. It reduces the chances of rejection or resistance and increases the likelihood of referrals and repeat business. And that's why I say you're more likely to close the sale, but you're also more likely to get future sales from this customer. And that's why this approach done the right way, done systematically, can double or triple your sales. We all know that it's easier to obtain additional sales from a satisfied existing customer than it is to get a first sale from a new customer. That said, once the relationship has been established, it's important to maintain. And I always like to say too that a repeat customer, you make more money on a repeat customer than you do on a first customer, because the first customer, you had acquisition costs. You had to do some advertising, some marketing, some whatever to get, or even a sale, whatever it might be, to get them through the door. It's that second sale you're making a much larger margin on them. So follow-up is key to turning them into a lifetime customer. Checking in with them from time to time will strengthen those chances of future sales, and perhaps more importantly, allow you to obtain referrals from them as well. Those referrals may take the form of them handing you over their contact information, or more simply, just increase foot traffic from the testimony they give to others.
Well, follow-up is key to any sort of a sales transaction or interaction with a customer, particularly, if it's a big ticket item, that leads to a referral because you're interested in knowing how the product came. It bugs me to no end. I've had, subcontractors, as you know, doing some things around my house and around the farm. And it just pains me that they don't call back and say how it is. They're trying to dodge a bullet. Maybe they don't think that it was up to my expectations, whatever the case, but they never asked. Or are you just prompting somebody to bring up an issue that they don't want to have to find themselves fixing? The real exception, and I don't mind bringing them up on the air, is the barn store. I mean, they built a barn out there for me, and they wanted to make sure that everything was fine. They called me back twice, and one of the excavators, put a little dent. I mean to tell you, a little dent in the side of my barn. I didn't think anything of it. It's in the back. It's not going to be any place. I'm going to park something in front of it anyway. But I told the guy about it, and he says, I did hear about that, and I wanted to ask you about that. And I said, don't bother. You're not going to get any better review because you're always getting a great review. And he said, no, I can't put my head on the pillow at night and sleep if I don't fix those things. I'll send 2 guys out there tomorrow. And they sent 2 guys out here, materials and everything, and fixed it. A dent that big. Keep in mind, this thing is 50 feet long, right? So that's what follow-up really means.
You've probably told 12 close friends and relatives about what a great job they did. And now you're telling millions here on the Biz Easy podcast.
That's right. Millions, literally millions will know the story of the barn store here in Nashville, Tennessee.
I'm in Utah, and if I need a barn, I'm coming out there to get it. As I said earlier, the common commodity brick and mortar stores and online stores may not have this luxury. However, they too can benefit from this approach by being experts at customer service and handling every customer contact adeptly, and to obtain a positive, if not extraordinary, customer satisfaction from each interaction. The key is to be the expert that the customer is looking for. Assume they want what they said they want and steer them towards a solution for their issue. Be like that dentist or that stylist that is trying to give you what you said you need and desired. Develop that long-term relationship that inspires future sales and multiple referrals. Steve?
I like that. Be the expert that the customer is looking for. I think that's really important. We interview subject matter experts. We ask them, how did you get started? What makes you an expert? Why do you stand out among everybody else? And it really is a passion for it. And you really do have to be an expert when it comes to that. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the good news is it doesn't take long to become an expert at something, even if on the first day you know more or even less than the customer does.
You said that earlier. I don't know that I completely agree with that. I think it takes some intense education and devotion to understanding trade, task, whatever it is, to be an expert. Now, I hearken back to Malcolm Gladwell. He is an author of Freakonomics, initial author. Anyway, he says it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. And he likened that to the Beatles. They played together and did songs for 10,000 hours before they became experts. Now, he also talks about other people and other trades that's the amount of time it takes. And I've always remembered that. Do you agree with that philosophy?
Well, to be the expert, I agree. But to have more expertise than the customer walking through your door, probably not. I mean, okay. You see what I'm saying? I don't know the first thing about guitars, but I could if I worked in a guitar store, within 2 or 3 days, I'd at least know how to answer most of the questions that a customer would ask.
Fair enough. Did you say tires or guitars?
Guitars.
I can't kick a guitar down the stairs, so I don't care what you can tell me. You would know infinitely more than I do.
My point exactly. And you want to buy one, you want to buy a guitar for your nephew's birthday, and you don't know anything coming through the door, then I probably know more than you do.
That's
right?
something with strings, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sorry, in Tennessee, it's called a git fiddle.
Careful. I'm here among the rabble, the general rabble. So anyway, okay, good blog, good interest, good story. Nice
You got a
stuff.
story? You got a story for us?
And now it's story time. Gather around, grab a rocker and a bucket of liquor, and listen to this. Now, keep in mind, this is a story of a real company, still in existence today, having started, like many of you, from humble beginnings. And thanks to our podcast, they simplified things for greater results. So this great example of a company that used the consultative approach to sales successfully is the cloud-based software company who provides customer relationship management, CRM, solutions, and other business applications. They use the consultative sales approach to understand the needs and challenges of their prospects and to offer them tailored solutions that could help them achieve their goals. Here are some of the steps that they took to implement the consultative sales approach. Bear with me, there's 5. They research their prospects and their industries before reaching out to them and prepare relevant questions to ask them during the discovery call. They listened actively to their prospects and learned about their pain points, objectives, and desired outcomes. They provided perspective and insights to their prospects and showed them how the company could help them solve their problems and improve their situation. They built trust and rapport with their prospects, just what you talked about, and positioned themselves as trusted advisors and partners, not just vendors. And finally, they followed up with prospects and maintained communication throughout the sales cycle and delivered value-added content and demonstrations that address their specific needs and concerns. Now, this is a long, drawn-out sales approach. Are you figuring out who this company is?
Not yet.
Finally, they close the deal by showing their prospects the return on their investment and the benefits of using their product and by overcoming any objections or barriers. Talk about an involved consultative sales process. By using the consultative sales approach, the name of the company, Salesforce, was able to differentiate themselves from their competitors, increase their customer satisfaction and loyalty, and grow their revenue and market share. Salesforce is now one of the leading CRM providers in the world with over 150,000 customers and over 21 billion in annual revenue. Now, they hope to inspire others with their story and their work, and they believe that nothing is impossible with passion and perseverance. I said that before, Navor. I don't know why I stumbled over that. So what do you think of that story?
Well, speaking of stumbling, if I can pronounce Abu Dhabi, you should be able to pronounce consultative.
Consultative. It's consultative. You have the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Okay. All right. Anyway, the story you just illustrated is exactly what we're talking about, and they're doing it remotely too, right? They're not like in a store talking to people that have just walked in. They're actually going out there and finding prospective clients and asking them what they thought was important when they were developing their product, and as well as the review after they've obtained the product, and how they could always asking how they can make the product better. That's a great company.
Well, coming soon to our network will be subject matter experts that we are going to bring on an interview and find out from them. I mean, we're going to ask them what it is that got you into, what is it that makes you an expert, and those kinds of questions. I think that's kind of important. We do want to thrill, inspire, and at least entertain our listenership.
Absolutely. Get their feedback. Exactly.
So let me now skip the time to tell us a little about, because you listened to us today, the free gift that we are offering. Skip.
Let's switch over to a little video that we've created for your free gift today.
This week's free gift is our marketing evaluator. Now, do you ever write an ad and wonder if it is going to have the impact you intend for it to have on your potential customers? Well, this tool is designed to help you review your current marketing impact and efficacy for deciding upon improvement or reassignment. We all know how important planning is, especially when it comes to planning for profit. To ensure that you are planning to put your best foot forward in marketing your business, this tool is a great resource for you and your marketing effort. Let's let Skip show us around.
This week's tool, Steve, is pretty simple. It's really just scoring yourself in several different areas, but I think it'll really help people determine how powerful and what type of an impact their ads will have. So each category, you would pick which number best describes your ad, put it in here. So we're taking some of the subjectivity, but not all the subjectivity out of writing these ads. Put your points in each of these section, and at the end, it'll give you your average points, and it will tell you whether you should probably start all over from scratch or whether you have something that's clear, passionate, precise, and powerful. Pretty simple tool to use, but I think it'll be really effective for folks when they're writing an ad or evaluating an ad that was written for them. Thanks, Steve.
As Skip mentioned, once again, the inputs are minimal, but the outputs are very powerful. Now, this tool can be very valuable in helping you look more objectively at your marketing products and evaluate just how effective it will be to your constituency. Now, we hope this makes your business a little more predictable and profitable. And the way to get your copy of the Marketing Evaluator tool free today is to go to the products page at resources-development.com and use the coupon code ADCHECK. That's ADCHECK to get yours absolutely free. And this product is a $9.95 value that you will receive for listening to us today. Our gift to help make your life biz easier.
Write that ad and stand back and watch the sales roll in. Right, Steve?
There you go. Thanks, Skip. Crap, we're giving that away?
Yeah.
How much do we charge for that?
I hope it's helpful.
Well, how much do we charge for that?
Well, it's free today. No, Steve.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Anyway, okay, there we have it. I think we've taken up enough time today. Thank you for joining us. Tune in. We have a podcast due every other week, soon to come every week, if you can tolerate that. Anything else, Skip? What do you got?
That's all I got, Steve. Thanks for your great job of emceeing today.
I appreciate it, and thanks for your expertise. Okay, that is a wrap.
That's a wrap. Woo!
Thanks for listening to today's BizEasy podcast. If you enjoyed our broadcast, we would kindly ask you to like, subscribe, and share with other entrepreneurs. See you next time on the BizEasy podcast, where business is simplified for greater results.